Hello there, and welcome to Pink Milk, your Star Wars podcast for us superfans.
And those of us who are forced to listen to them.
Today is someday, and someday we're talking adoption and fostering in Star Wars. Are you ready, Thomas?
I'm ready.
It's time to drink up.
Drink up.
Hello, Pop.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am great.
You are great.
I would like to think so. Hello to all of you. I am Brian, your host, and with me, as always, is my better half and your better host, Thomas.
Hello.
Oh, I love my triple hellos. Okay, we're going to start this thing with, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
It was a very busy week, and we missed an entire week, and
Crazy busy.
just is what it is. Hello, 2021.
In fairness, though, we did try at one point in time, but I think we had done such a poor job of it. We're like, we can't, we just can't give this to you.
No.
So we're sorry.
Yep, but hey, thank you for hanging with us. If this is the first time you're listening to us, well, hey, we're right on time.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming and following and all of those things. While you're here, why don't you head on over to Apple Podcasts and give us a written review and a 5-star review, because it really, really does help get Star Wars in recommendations from Apple Podcasts. So it would be super cool if you did that. And you can also follow us on YouTube, where we are growing and we hang out late at night, get crazy, and the chat gets thirsty, and it's fun. And also, make sure you follow Tom on Twitter at TomSipsPinkMilk, which we mentioned last night. You've never once logged back in.
I did the first time, though. So, you know.
Once a week.
Thank you.
Once a week Twitter.
All of you who reached out to me, thank you. I'm going to yell. Thank you.
And speaking of Twitter, Tom and I both wanted to send a special, we're sending you hugs, who reached out to me via Twitter to just say, you know, check in, and they're not doing super great during all this, and their country is not doing the steps necessary to help all of them feel safe, and particularly them. So we just want to let you know that we are giving you hugs to try to help you through all of this.
Yes,
so,
our big hug to you, okay?
Yep. Thank you for always supporting us, and if you need anything from us, we are here for you.
We read it, and we hear you, and we see you, and we're thinking of you.
Yes. So anyone else out there who needs some more hugs, we are here for you too. But it's 2021, so let's all hope for a better year. And it's in our hands. It's really in our hands to change it. Just like Rey.
I feel like there's a song there.
There might be.
Got the whole world in his... Oh, I just hit the microphone.
In
our hands, it got the whole world. In our hands.
So, question, listeners. Tom and I were talking this morning. We are becoming Broadway queens. So, what if we ditched the Star Wars podcast and started talking about Broadway? What do you think? Are you going to hang with us?
No, we were threatening our son that we would start taking him to all the plays and remembering the words of the musicals anyway, and start singing them to him. Because clearly we have very defined, very specific careers in singing over here at the Barry House.
And that is called the unemployment line.
Pretty much. You know, in Catholic school, Sister Virginia would always say, singing is praying twice.
I've never
so we're
forgotten
praying.
that.
We're praying twice. Those of you who went to Catholic school, you'll know what I'm saying.
Question.
Yes.
Was there really rulers involved in Catholic school and smacking of the desk hands?
No. I mean, there was kind of, when you answered rulers, I think I would see a teacher with the really long rulers.
The yardstick, right?
Yeah, the yardstick one. And they would draw lines on the chalkboard. And you'd have to go up there and practice your penmanship.
Okay.
So that's the only ruler I'm thinking about.
So just so you know, listeners, I think Tom never was called to the board because his penmanship is as if he was a doctor.
Well, you should see my dad's penmanship.
Is it
and
worse?
You'll be thanking me for how great mine is.
Seriously?
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
You can make out nothing. Nothing. And he'll write paragraphs, and you're looking at it going, I don't know what this means right
It is the physical representation of the Charlie Brown adult. Wah, wah, wah,
As
wah,
opposed
wah.
to my mom, and she's got this big, beautiful, bubbly writing. You're just like, wow, this is beautiful to even look at.
She
I don't know
really
what
does.
she wrote,
Yeah.
but...
Your mom was probably one of those people who, like, when they were younger, practiced writing, like, for fun and enjoyed the art of calligraphy and all of that stuff.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
That's Anne-Marie.
Shout out Anne-Marie. Woo woo! Oh, so how are you enjoying Twitter, Tom?
That awkward silence. You know what? It's not that I'm not enjoying it. Can we start off that way?
I think that
you
is
know
great.
what? It hasn't stuck in my head to go back and look at it. Other than when you say to me, "Hey Tom, did you look at Twitter?" Oh yeah, I did. Thank you, everybody. Thank you again. I mean, I responded to a few people in that very morning when and then I just didn't think about it again. I was out there pushing those
very,
houses.
very busy. Yes, Anyways, hey, it is what it is. Are you looking forward to today's conversation, Tom?
Very much so. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
What are we talking about?
Fostering and adopting.
Oh, I know a little
Star
about
Wars.
that.
And so while we're doing this, one of the ways we made this happen is I'm feeling a little bit like Lady Proxima. Does that mean anything to you, Thomas?
Nothing.
You've seen Solo.
Nothing.
The Worm Lady. I'm feeling like Lady Proxima, and I'm sending my children out to do my bidding because I'm going to sit here and lay in this pool and take care of. I think she had like 100 babies in that water or something.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she was a great character. Anyways, so the
Not
kids
very
are doing.
memorable, though.
Yes, she was. She was great.
Not to me.
Minus the school teacher voice. But our children are doing chores while we're recording.
How many times have I seen Solo, and I still don't remember that?
I don't know.
We've seen it quite a few times.
Yes.
And in the movie theater, too.
Yeah. It still stands as the Star Wars movie that I've seen the
Does this mean
least.
I'm less than a casual fan now? Laura, you want to weigh in on that?
I love Solo, but yeah. We are... thank you, Twitter. Earlier this week, I put out a thing saying, not that I would know how to do a podcast without talking about our kids, but I was like, I wonder how many of our listeners actually have children and how many of our listeners are queer and have children and if they enjoy us talking about them so much. Because I'm like, what if a lot of our listeners don't? They hate hearing about this. So I had to go and ask, and honestly, we had a very overwhelming group of very positive feedback. So I'm very appreciative. So I do think this podcast is well-timed. This episode is a very well-timed episode.
So, all right. So tell me more about what you're talking about. You did a poll? I mean, we did a poll? Wink, wink. We did a poll?
No, I just asked a question, and people were just commenting. It was very nice.
Okay.
It was nice.
Okay.
Because
what kind of responses did you get?
Oh, there are people who were parents, people who weren't parents, but enjoy hearing the journey. Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
You know what I'd like to hear? I'd like to hear from same-sex couples who have adopted as well.
Well, that was one of the things, but we didn't really get a lot back. But from queer people. But there was somebody who, we had one person who he and his wife adopted a child.
Okay.
There was someone who had, stepchildren. And anyways, yeah, honestly, there's some really great information there. And it was nice. It was just very nice to know that people actually enjoy hearing about the kids because if they said, no, please stop, I'm like, oh, I don't know what else to talk about. Mm-hmm. My children are like word vomit. I think. But anyways, so I'm looking forward to today because I think about Star Wars is all about found family, and the reason that children need to be found or individuals need to be found is we have it started with Anakin. He was adopted by the Jedi in a way. He was taken away from his mom. We have Jyn Erso, we have Solo, we have Qi'ra, we have Rey, Finn, Luke and Leia, and all of these characters were separated by their family in some way, shape, or form, on or off screen. But they've all responded to their journeys differently, but they've all also had very different upbringings. Mm-hmm. So I thought it'd be really interesting to discuss a little bit of that and what our journey's been like raising kids who've had others raised them too before we got here. And why we think that like some might be more successful than others in raising these kids, because it does require a different kind of thing, I think. And what it is that we think we're providing our kids are hopefully going to give them a better future.
Okay, I appreciate the outline. I look forward to the show.
There you go. That was very outliney.
Very outliney. I'm like, wow, okay, all right, there, I see it. I see it in my head now. Let's do it. Not sure I'll be able to do item number 1 very well, but I can do 2 and 3.
Okay, so...
And if there was a 4th one, I'm not sure. I forgot already.
I don't remember anything that comes out of my mouth like 30 seconds later. So, I mean, honestly, I think it'll be really, really great to have that conversation. So, it kind of all starts with Anakin. He is the first who we see is with his mother. Honestly, they're slaves, so that's not a very good life,
right?
Obviously. And they have chips in them that will blow them up if they try to run away, and all of that is a very scary way to live. And he's taken by Qui-Gon to become a Jedi. You know, and oh god, that scene between Anakin and Shmi is always hard to watch.
So, question.
Yeah.
Do we know who Anakin's father is?
No.
Okay.
It's always been...
Someone.
Ambiguous. I think the average... It's probably... This is interesting. So... I think the majority probably feels that it's Palpatine as his father. And Palpatine used the Force to create life, which he said in episode 3.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the main theory, but I love that George Lucas always left it ambiguous, which I think it would have... That's something that I would have loved. I can understand how they thought it bookended, making Rey Palpatine's child too, and that kind of bookends to that idea that she is still a continuation of the Chosen One, and she really is a Skywalker in that way. Not that she really is a Skywalker. Like, it bookends the story that way. I just think, again, like most of The Rise of Skywalker was poorly executed. Like, but I wish that it was left ambiguous. But that is not modern storytelling. It doesn't leave ambiguity.
Okay.
Like, everything has to be painted out so we can have a YouTube clip or a tweet that, like, explicitly says this is where it is. And it's just, I miss that. Like, that was something that I found very, very interesting. So, Shmi says, because Qui-Gon in The Phantom Menace is like, who's the father? And she's like, there was no father. I carried him, and I loved him. So she doesn't know. And then, obviously, he lived 10 years as a slave. But then he was taken by the Jedi. And we, in episode 2, we learn really that the Jedi are not allowed to love, and attachment is forbidden, and there's this weird relationship between, like, Anakin doesn't know how to be around Padme. And everyone always talks about how it's bad writing, and, well, the kid was a slave first. That's how he first grew up. And then he was raised by the Jedi and told to have no attachment. And then people always just love to, like, tease and say it's clunky writing. Well, the dude doesn't know how to be around people. This is one of the flaws of the Jedi that we learn a lot with Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, that the Jedi have become, and Luke Skywalker talks about it in The Last Jedi, they've become so arrogant. I think of, you remember, here we go, people, one of the 3 S's. Do you remember the South Park episode, Tom? When they leave South Park and go to San Francisco and everyone drives Priuses and smells their own farts?
Yes.
They're so high on themselves that their own farts smell really good. I feel the Jedi drive around in Prius, in little Priuses. Is that how you say it? What is the plural of a Prius? Is it Priuses?
Multiple Priuses.
But they drive around in the, like, those Jedi starfighters, you know, they're energy efficient star cruisers, and they have recirculating air so they can pass gas in there and smell themselves and think it's great. But that's how I've always viewed the Jedi, as those San Francisco, South Park toot-smelling selves.
So it's interesting to hear you talk about it, because as the years have gone by, you've seemed to take a different look and have a different tone when you speak about Jedi that I don't think you had years ago.
I think, honestly, raising the kids has changed me a little bit because, again, we can't speak to having biological children from birth. I don't know what that life is like. And it's interesting. Like, this would be an interesting, like, do another partner up with this and talk about it with Emma, who, you know, has had a child since birth. Mm-hmm. So I feel like our kids came to us, and this is not speaking to everyone who had their hand in raising them, but they all had experienced people who did not love them at some point in their journey. And there, especially with one of them, like long-lasting effects of not having any affection.
Mm-hmm. And I'd say two of them, too.
Yeah. Two of them, like, effects of not being loved by parents before. And yeah. And then meeting Ahsoka, too. And Ahsoka has changed me a little bit with the view of the Jedi. But these kids are ripped away from their parents. It doesn't matter if they're Force sensitive and it's an honor, in quotes, to be a Jedi or not. They're taken away from their families and then shown no compassion and no love. And I know there could be a possible counter argument to that. So if you do feel differently, I'd love to hear from you. So shoot us a message on Twitter or an email or something, because I honestly would love to hear a different take. But to me, they're just not shown any affection. And how is that healthy? You know? Mm-hmm. And these are supposed to be peacekeepers and there for the people. And like a lot change, you know, when Ahsoka meets the Martez sisters, she talks about that, you know, because the Martez sisters are like, the Jedi probably don't even know we exist. There's some line like that. She's like, oh, they're up there and they don't even know about us. They're supposed to care, but they don't. And that really affected Ahsoka, because that was never Ahsoka's stance anyways. And then we see in a few episodes later, she's like, you know, no, you help people no matter what. You see people that need help and you help them no matter what. That should be the Jedi motto, but it kind of wasn't. The Jedi are there for themselves first. And as parents, like, you can't do that. And we've talked about that, our journey with Jack, you know, and we just spoke about it this morning. Mm-hmm. And oddly enough, in the breaks of recording this podcast, this episode, you know, we had someone reach out to us who we have known for years and years and years now, more of an acquaintance. Mm-hmm. But he and his husband are considering adopting, so they reached out to us to see what the whole thing is like. But it's interesting because I think for us, you know, when Jack first came, it's because we wanted to start a family. It was a little on the selfish side. Correct.
And we didn't know we were being selfish, but we were just like, wow, you know, we always wanted to have children. Mm-hmm. And now's the time, because the world has changed. We can have a child. We could not before. And it, you know, and we could have a child and be equals. It wouldn't be one was a step parent and the other's the parent. So we were equal. So that's part of the world changing for us here in the United States anyway.
Yeah.
The second time when Michael came along, you know, that was about, you know, having someone for Jack, having a brother. And then the third one came along, and that was about tying the two together in a way so that they each had someone. So I don't know if we were selfish, I guess.
Cream. He was the cream in our Oreo.
Cream in the middle.
But, you know, so I think this is interesting because this kind of comes into the difference between Luke and Leia. So Anakin was adopted and by a cult who doesn't believe, they just want you for your power, and that's it. They could care less anything about you, and that's honestly, that's just how I view the Jedi now. And it's unfortunate because
it's interesting to hear you say that after all these years.
Yes, they're supposed to be heroes, and I don't know, like, I don't think they're villains. I don't think that, like, they're not out.
But they've always been made out to be the heroes.
Yeah, until the prequels came, and they were like, maybe not. And then the sequels came, and, like, I'm not sure what they thought they were doing. That's one of the things that Last Jedi did that was so amazing, was they put that into question again. And then Rise of Skywalker's like, oh, just kidding. I'm going to train to be a Jedi. Okay, well, we just ignore that whole thing. But anyways, it's unfortunate because I think there's some really interesting things there, and there was a really interesting opportunity for Rey to turn it around and be something else, which I want to get into when we get to Rey's story. So now we have Luke and Leia, who were the product of Anakin, and then, he murdered his wife and killed her, and he turned into Darth Vader, so we had to split the kids up, and we had to put them into hiding, right?
Well, he didn't murder his wife.
Yes, he did. He choked her.
Anakin did?
Yes.
He choked her?
Yes.
Why do I not remember that?
I don't know.
I thought she died of a broken heart.
Well, that's what they said.
Oh, okay.
Which is part of
did we see the same movie?
Yeah.
But he wasn't choking her.
No, but he did choke her, and she passed out on the ground, and then she was unconscious and not breathing, and then they went to the asteroid where she gave birth, and then she died right after that.
Okay.
So I think it was, to me, she died of a broken heart because she knew she wasn't going to be able to raise her kids.
Okay.
That's the broken heart to me. And, she lost everything. In that moment, she lost everything. And it isn't just the kids, but she knew she was dying, couldn't raise her kids. And that she lost her husband. All of it. All of it. She left everything that she knew to have this, and then he turned her back on her. And it's honestly very upsetting because Padme was great. And Anakin was great.
Wouldn't it be great if she comes back?
I think it would be... I would like that, 100%. I don't know how.
She's been pulling the strings from behind the scenes for years.
And she's really a villain. Yeah. So anyways, okay, we have Luke and Leia. So at the end, she's dead. Anakin is dead because he's now Darth Vader. And they thought at this point in time, he was a crispy piece of bacon on the lava ground. Didn't know he was actually back. But it gave... oh my God, why am I blanking on it? Bail Organa an opportunity to adopt. He was like, "Oh, we'll take the girl. My wife and I always wanted a baby girl." And so they wanted her. It was like us. Whatever reason, they weren't having biological children. Mm-hmm. Obi-Wan took Luke, and then he and Yoda are like, "Well, we're going to give him to the aunt and uncle because he should be back where his father was from."
So how was the aunt and uncle related to everybody?
So, this is interesting. In the original stories, in the original ideas, and I think it was in the novelization of both A New Hope and Return of the Jedi, but they said that Owen Lars was the brother of Obi-Wan. Okay. But the movies changed that. So Owen Lars was the son of Klieg Lars, who ultimately... freed Shmi, bought Shmi from Watto, and freed her, and then they married.
Okay.
So Owen Lars was Anakin's stepbrother, but they had never really had one interaction. Okay. But it was a way for Luke to get to Tatooine, and Tatooine was in the Outer Rim, and it's lawless out there, and there's not really the Empire. Never really took control of it, so it was actually a good hiding place. Mm-hmm. But it was the Jedi, again, saying, "You're going to raise him." Very similar, honestly, to what we think may have happened with one of our kids, where the state found a blood relative, and they were out of state, and said, "Hey, you basically need to take this child." It's not exactly the same, but they said yes, and then unfortunately, it didn't work out, and that's why Jack is here. But it was interesting because I did that thing with Blue Bantha Milk where fatherhood in Star Wars. And I've always felt in my own life story that my father, who adopted me at 4, never really wanted me so much. It's not like my father was this terrible father, but I just never really felt like I was wanted. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the ways that I really related to Luke, because I just felt like I was this kid who was stuck in this family that never really wanted me. And it was hard. And just like Luke, you just look to the future, because where you are, you're not wanted. So where else do I have to go but to look to the stars and look to a better future that, thank God, once I'm out of here, I can build the life that I want for myself. And Luke has some real struggles later as the saga goes on, and he flirts with the dark side, and truthfully, he goes down that dark path, and then it sticks with him all the way until he dies. It never really leaves him again. And that is, to me, part of that upbringing and the weight of not being wanted, you know? And then we don't know what his love life was like, but he was alone. And did he take the way of the Jedi and then also not give himself a wife or a husband or somebody later in life? That story is not told, but you can maybe think he didn't take that for himself. He gave himself to everybody else. Whereas Leia, on the other hand, who quite frankly is probably the strongest, most put together, most centered character in any and all of Star Wars. And she came from literally the same exact place that Luke did, but she was given to a family that wanted her and gave her this really, really wonderful life because they wanted her. And it's interesting because I think about us and being queer parents and that we really wanted kids.
Absolutely.
You know, it was not a life that was going to be given to us necessarily. It was not on our path. But it was something we really wanted. And I feel that way, like in talking to these people that, you know, are old acquaintances that hopefully will have their... You want them, and it's different. And I feel like we give them so much because it was something we never thought we could get. And so we appreciate our children very, very much. And I feel that Bail and Bria Organa really appreciated Leia.
I can see what you're saying.
And it gave her so much confidence. It gave her this sense of belonging. It gave her this sense of strength because she was able to see the absolute best in the world because someone gave that idea to her. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe it's me hoping that our kids feel that way about us someday, but it's just the truth.
I think they do. I mean, and we don't, let's be clear, we don't give them everything as in, like, material possessions. Yeah. You know, we just give our time and our attention and our focus when needed and give them latitude as well. I think, you know, every kid, well, in my opinion, every kid needs that anyway.
Yep.
We have a different take on it. It's almost not an obligation. Not that I'm saying it's somebody's obligation, but we value it. When sometimes we're really tired, we're like, wow, you know, we wouldn't have this. And we do keep that in the back of our mind if we didn't. We wouldn't, you know, if we didn't work for it and have that, you know, goal. I don't know if that made sense, but
no, well,
that's what I mean.
To this day, I pretty sure I say it to myself every single day. I'm living a life that I never dreamed possible for myself. And I really feel that way about Bail and Bria and how they loved Leia. I think they counted their stars every single day for her. And it shows in how strong she is. Like, she is so confident and so righteous, but not righteous in like an arrogant way because she's been given a world and an opportunity. And then those parents, like, she probably had two parents who were totally invested. Like you and I talk about that. I think we are both very invested in our children, like equally. Like everything is for them, you know? And I'm happy that Leia got that. And I think about sometimes what would it have been like if she was the one that went to Dagobah and not Luke. Like, what could she have done? And that's something that I feel, which can take us to a break, but I feel very much like Jyn is something, and Rey are something that have a similar upbringing and went about it in two very, very different ways that I find really, really interesting. So we'll talk about them right after we come back from break. Sound good?
Sounds good. I'm here.
All right. And
We're back.
So we are going to start round 2 with the Disney acquisition, focusing on Rey and Jyn Erso.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So we have Rey and Jyn, 2 characters who lost their parents violently, actually, and one was taken by a radical. The other was picked up by basically a pawn dealer, I guess. I don't really know what what's his name did.
Neither do I.
So again, I don't really know the whole story. I think it's in the Rogue One novelization, which I never read, but Saw Gerrera took Jyn. So if you remember at the beginning of Rogue One, we see her mother shot, right? And she went into hiding. Remember, she hid in the pretend rock? Mm-hmm. And then Saw Gerrera came, and then we found out that he raised her until she was 16. So I think she was probably 7 or 8. Mm-hmm. So he had her for close to 10 years. Let's just say a decade. He was someone who also lost his whole family during the Clone Wars. And he became a bit of a renegade and was a little off balance, possibly. He was really, really angry at the Empire. And raised her, and then we found out as that story went on, he left her when she was 16 years old. And then we meet her in handcuffs. And she is a bit of a aggressive person as well.
Right.
A lot of that was left on the cutting room floor, but so she was someone else who was raised in a foster home that I don't think wanted her. Again, and so we have this character who is angry and kind of lost themselves. So there's a lot of that in Star Wars, and it isn't until they find they find their family and their friends. And she meets Cassian and K2 and kind of joins the rebellion that way. And then, in contrast, we have Rey, who was left on Jakku with, oh God, I'm completely blanking on the dude's name. I just looked it up. Unkar Plutt. So she was raised by him. Why I don't remember that name, I don't know, but I don't. So she was raised by him, who's basically like a pawn dealer or whatever he's got going on over there with his 3/4 portions. But she was left off on her own. But she made a different choice. I look at the end of The Rise of Skywalker and her taking the name Skywalker. Not only, it can be viewed a few different ways. I hear people talking about that she found her found family in Luke and Leia. I don't see it that way. I see it as, I go back to the end of The Last Jedi when we see the kids in the stables and they're telling the legend of Luke Skywalker, their little toy. Mm-hmm. And at the Force Awakens, and he's like, they're after Finn's they're after some guy called Skywalker. And she's like, Luke Skywalker, I thought he was just a myth. So he was someone that kids looked up to. And so I feel she adopted the name Skywalker as her last way of letting all those kids in the universe, in the galaxy, know that they too could get somewhere. Mm-hmm. And it was less about Luke and Leia. For me, that's how I read into it.
And I think it was more about Leia than it was Luke anyway. I think she had a special connection with her.
Yeah. The Rise of Skywalker did a good job of establishing that, mm-hmm. actually, that they had really a unique and very close bond. Mm-hmm. So I find that interesting, though, because what is it that you think, Thomas, as these kids that come from places like that, what do you think they need that maybe kids like your nieces and nephews don't need?
Are we talking about real life, or are we talking about Star Wars life?
Well, both. Real life.
Okay.
Real life. Star Wars is our avenue, is mm-hmm. our myth, to a lens in which to look at the real world through. Mm-hmm. So we have, in this, we've spoken about Anakin, mm-hmm. Luke, Leia, Jyn, mm-hmm. and Rey. What is it that those 5 kids from trauma need that another character, which, oh my God, I can't even think of a character who doesn't suffer any trauma in Star Wars. Like, you know, like your nieces and nephews who are, you know, their parents have stayed together. They're, you know, biologically born between your sister and her husband and all of those things. Like,
well, I think that kids with trauma need the same thing that children that are born biologically from parents and stay in their home, which is love. They all need the same thing. They all need love. They need attention. They need understanding. All of them. They all need the same thing. And I think both in a bio home and sometimes in a foster or adoptive home, some of these kids just do not get them. Do not get that. So my answer is, what is love? Sorry, I was trying to make it a Jeopardy question.
Don't hurt me no more.
You know, love. I mean, they all need love.
Baby, don't hurt me.
You know, some will need therapy.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know that a kid with trauma who comes from foster homes into adoptive home would need that any more than a child who is born biologically from some parent. So, and stays in that home, like I said. So, there's my answer.
So you think maybe they just need to listen to Hadaway a lot?
Yes, whoever that is, but they should definitely listen to him.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
I always thought it was blame it on the rain. Blame it on the rain. No more.
Well, blame it on the rain is blame it on the rain. Yeah, yeah. Blame it on the stars, 'cause they shine at night. But whatever you do, don't let the blame on you. Something like that. Milli Vanilli?
Is that?
That's who sings Blame It On The
Vanilli. You know, they've come up twice in the last year on our podcast.
Have they really?
Yeah, they've come up once before. I think we broke out in song on that reference as well.
Okay, what was their other song?
Good question. I was literally going to ask.
Oh my God.
What was the big one that they...
I just remember Blame It on the Rain.
No, they had one more.
I don't remember. It doesn't hold up, though.
I mean, allegedly they did.
Someone singing it did.
That's a shame.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you think, like, what level of parenting do you think led these characters down the road that they ended up taking? Like, at what point, like, what part is it rearing versus just biology?
I think rearing is the most important thing.
Okay.
And no matter who they are. And in that sense, I really truly don't see much difference between whether they were biologically ours or adopted / foster.
Yeah.
I just think rearing and how you communicate with them and how you take care of them and how you're there for them and how you love them, I think that's every single thing.
Yeah, like I wonder if, like, these kids not only lost, and I'm talking about our Star Wars characters, not only lost their parents at a very young age, they never had parents as they got older either. They didn't really have anyone to turn to other than peers. Like Anakin had an adult who looked after him. That adult was Palpatine. So
right.
That's not somebody, and Palpatine used all of his trauma and used his insecurities and used
talk about
all that
rearing
against
then.
him. Yeah.
If that is indeed the case, I mean, look how he turned out.
Yep. I mean, and Ben Solo, actually, he had two parents who were both there. How much Han was there? I don't know.
So that's an interesting question, because if my thought is rearing, that wouldn't really hold water with that one, right?
Well, I mean, what did Leia and Han do wrong?
Is it now
where did they
situation?
Go? It is, and like you put a lens, like you put force abilities on someone with trauma. Well, then you have the light and the dark side tugging away at you, and it adds
actually,
another
hang on
layer.
A second, let's circle back to that for a second. So maybe it was situational. Ben grew up, and yes, his parents, in theory, but they were divorced anyway, so they weren't even together. So who really knows? Maybe it was rearing on that part too. Maybe they were themselves so, tumultuous.
I know...
And he grew up in in a world where they were fighting with one another, right?
No, he grew up in a time of peace.
I know, but it was underground. They were all underground,
waiting
for the ball to drop.
We're seeing he's growing up while we're watching The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
That's the timeline that Ben is growing up in.
Right.
And we see that it still very much is tumultuous, actually. Like, it's eggshells. Like, no one really knows how to move on because they were just the entire galaxy was under so much oppression that they actually don't. They're all, like, with their little training wheels, like, figuring out how to do this because they haven't had to do it before. Mm-hmm. But part of Ben's story is that he was really, really upset that Leia lied to him about Darth Vader being his grandfather. And that was part of his anger, was her not being honest with him. And Leia had a hard time acknowledging that Vader was her father. There was moments where I don't think it came easy to her to accept that. Like, Luke accepted it pretty quickly.
Right.
But she was never able to. But Luke also never had a family. Like, she had parents that loved her. And so I think her accepting Vader probably was hard for her to then also accept Bria and God, I hate getting old.
And in the end, she never got her moment with Darth Vader either.
She never saw him.
Right.
She saw him in A New Hope.
Mm-hmm. In the very beginning.
Darth Vader, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But she never got the moment. Luke Skywalker got the moment with him. Mm-hmm. She never got that moment.
Yeah, she was told, hey, by the way, Darth Vader's your dad, I'm your brother, and poof, I'm bouncing.
Right.
And then
I'm
curious, I don't know the timeline super well. Like, how long was Luke with Leia still? Because we learned in The Rise of Skywalker, like, Luke and Lando went gallivanting around looking for the Wayfinder and all that kind of stuff. But, like, what kind of relationship did Luke and Leia have later?
I don't know. But something you said popped into my mind because you said this is the time, the period of The Mandalorian, which we're watching, where Ben was growing up. Okay. And how cool would it be to see Princess Leia, Han Solo, and a little Ben in the time where they were not at odds, where they were together, and where life was maybe happy? Wouldn't that be cool if this was that time? It'd be nice to, just like they keep bringing people in and out all the time on that show, it'd be nice to bring them all in, and they don't have to be the same actors, but bring them in. That'd be really cool. So whoever's listening out there.
See, if I could will anything to the universe, and, actually anyone who may or may not be listening from Lucasfilm, Dave Filoni, possibly, maybe, you can always bring me in as a story person, because what I want more than anything, and the way I'm going to tell the story is, like, through Rey. And I know people want to move away, but I don't. And we have 27 Star Wars shows going on, so there's room for, like, right around the Skywalker still if we have 27 shows. What I would love is Rey out, like, I want an animated show with Rey going off, maybe building her school, whatever that's going to look like. And
she's going to build a school,
like a Jedi school. I think that's her next step in the journey, is building a new kind of Jedi. And I don't think Rey will have the no attachment Jedi. I think Rey very much has the potential to be an Ahsoka type of Jedi.
So no cult Jedi.
I don't think so. No,
okay.
I think Rey is more like Ahsoka, personally.
So like a church Jedi.
Sure, a spiritual Jedi.
Okay,
she don't need no door. So, but I want an animated series that takes place between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, with all of our heroes and what they did, including a little baby Ben Solo, and what that story is. But I want it I don't want any of those people recasted. I don't. I'd rather just move on from their characters, I think, or tell their story in animated form, because I don't want to see somebody else playing Leia. I don't think.
Where are we with Rey in the whole story? Is she completely done with her storyline?
For now.
Okay. Oh, so there's nothing new coming. It's the High Republic, but that's
400 years before anything.
Okay.
Which is really good.
Okay.
I've been really enjoying this book. Listening to it, because whatever. I don't have time to read an actual book. But, yeah, so I don't know. But I kind of like that little side tangent. Kids that. So you want to see them in The Mandalorian. You're cool with that.
I just think it would be cool to... It's not that I want to see them. But I would be... Now that you made reference to... During this time period when The Mandalorian has taken place, it was when Ben Solo was growing up. So I wouldn't mind seeing when they were not a broken home. When Han Solo and Princess Leia were together. And when Ben was new to them. 5, 7, 10 years old. But it'd be nice to see if this is that time period when they weren't unhappy.
Well, I believe it's Last Shot. You should read that book, because there are some chapters in there about baby Ben Solo and Han Solo stepping on basically Legos. And I think it's Last Shot. Correct me if I'm wrong, listeners. Okay. But I think it's Last Shot. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know.
So if I'm not here next week, I'm reading the book.
Well, speaking of next week, I think we are going to go bi-weekly here with Husband and Husband on Pink Milk. Life is just very, very, very busy. There isn't a lot of new Star Wars content at this moment in time. So Tom and I are going every other week. Emma, Mark, and I will still be every week with Pink Milk After Dark on YouTube, and then the podcast out on Mondays. So
does that mean I have to read the book?
It does. So in 2 weeks, Tom's going to be here. And actually in 2 weeks, Tom's not going to be here, because our next episode is going to be, I think, if I'm getting my math right, I'll be hanging out with somebody else doing an interview with somebody else. I'm very excited to talk about it.
Can I watch?
You can watch. You can even say hi if you want to. But we're talking about religion in Star Wars and how we view Star Wars as kind of our religion.
Oh, cool.
So I'm really, really excited. This person's very smart, and I will sound
I show up when my manager tells me to show up, so...
Well, what do you think, listeners? Let us know with email or Twitter about... What do you think were the choices made by these parents that led our characters down the roads they eventually took? So, really curious to hear your thoughts on that. And as always, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
You can find us at Serving Pink Milk. You can find me at B_sips Pink Milk. Thomas, where can they find you on Twitter?
Brian will let you know.
You can follow Tom at Tom Sips Pink Milk.
Oh, that's a pretty cool name.
Where you can type at him and he may or may not read it. But don't forget, you can also...
Why doesn't it ding me and let me know I have it?
Do you want me to turn your notifications on?
I'm not sure. You just gave me a look.
I will. Welcome to my life, everyone. You can email us at servingpinkmilk@gmail.com, or you can visit our website and email us from there at servingpinkmilk.com. Please head on over to Apple Podcasts and give us a review. It really does help get people who listen to Star Wars podcasts. It helps us pop up in their recommendations. And you can also head on over to YouTube and watch Mark, M, and I talk Star Wars live on Friday nights,
where I may make a special guest appearance.
I think you've made one special guest appearance, right?
I've watched.
You do watch for the first 5 minutes before we put him to sleep. Until next time, listeners, thank you very much, and get ready, because it's time to drink up.